What's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome you to the Position on Sports Talk Show. But today we have an NBA special edition for you. I'm here with some straight shooters, some guys who know how to back you down in the paint and get the and one foul easy. I'd like to first introduce my namesake. What up, Sense?
Yes. What's good, fellas? Good to be back in the house talking sports with y'all. Let's go.
Last but not least, some may call him the smartest among us. When the professor's in the room, you fitting to learn. How you doing today, Professor J?
What's going on, fellas, man? I'm glad to be in the house with you guys talking some hoops. Y'all know how we do it. Praise the Lord. Let's get it.
Let's get it. You know, at first we had here on the write-up that I was going to jump into the Lakers, but I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm on a streak. I might go ahead and jump into these Phoenix Suns, fellas. Right now,
Okay.
I feel that type of way. The energy just hit. And when it happens, you know, why not stick with the hot hand? The hot hand right now and all
Hey,
of
look,
the
like my man said it above the rim, handle your business.
Absolutely. Phoenix Suns, and they've been absolutely handling their business. 16 wins straight. Fellas, how do you all feel about this new revamp? Well, we can't even call it a new revamp because they finished last year on the same type of note. These guys are definitely operating on a whole different level. How do you all feel about the Phoenix Suns?
I'll tell you how I'm feeling right now. Mad.
Is that personal?
Mad that yeah, very personal. Mad that these bums are still just playing good basketball. You know, all due to the leadership of CP3, the point guard, the man that you love to hate on that court. He's leading these boys to, like, you know, some very favorable to a very favorable future. And you know, it's cool to see. You know, unless you're a fan of the Lakers like me, which means you're gonna have to face them, which means they're gonna be trouble for you. But in all seriousness, kudos to them because they definitely doing their thing right now, balling.
Yeah, I'm actually excited because the way they picked up from the finals, they serving notice that all of y'all picking Brooklyn and y'all picking LA, they got a lot to say about it. I think they 17-3 right now?
Yeah.
And I think they balling to the point where they not even playing their best games. Everybody was chirping, talking all that smack about, oh, they had an easy ride to the finals because of all the injuries. You know, Kawhi Leonard went down. You had things going on with Utah and things going on in Denver. So everybody was like, y'all had an easy ride there. And then you got smoked by my Bucks. But now you see they writing their own narrative saying, look, that wasn't an anomaly. We coming for that crown. I know y'all picking Lakers. I know y'all talking about soon as Kawhi come back. And then you see what's going on down with Utah and Denver a little hurt right now. So they might be out of the running. But the point is that CP3 has never gotten the just due that he deserves. And I think people need to start giving it to him. He is more than a floor general. He is one of the best leaders in the league, taking young teams. I mean, not just this stop. If you go back to Oklahoma City, you go back to
Houston,
down in Houston, right? And then you look at where he started his career with the Clippers. He's always been that type of player. And I know you still salty that he didn't end up in LA as a LA Laker. So since you gotta let that go, man, get a man his love. You gotta let it go. He could have played with Kobe, but it didn't happen.
It wasn't his fault. I blame Mark Cuban, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
And to think of it, DeAndre Ayton hasn't even touched the floor yet. Hasn't even touched the floor.
I mean, I'm scared. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm scared of these young boys too because they are nothing to sneeze at. I mean, Mikal Bridges. I'm sorry. My Lord, he is like he kills you, but has a smile on his face while doing it. I mean, you got Cam Johnson like shooting from
North
the wing.
Carolina's old baby, Tar Heel Nation.
I mean, you even got veteran leadership with Jay Crowder. So I mean, like, you know, who can shoot and also play defense and beast on the boards. And you know, yeah.
And remember, I said it on our normal show on Tuesday nights. The moment they started comparing Booker to Kobe, to me, he got tight in the playoffs and really didn't ascend to what they were trying to put him on. That pedestal is waiting for him. They just need him to grow into it. And I think once he gets that underneath him, once he starts understanding, and he is developing that Mamba mentality, you can see it. But I think he got kind of tight in the playoffs, especially in the finals, and it really affected his game. Because when you start hearing people comparing you to Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, people like that, it kind of takes away from your game because now you're trying to always play up to that level. And I just saw at times he got tight in the playoffs last year, but he has his time. He has his time.
Yes, they've completely turned around with as far as efficiency on the offensive end and dedication on the defensive end. They're sixth in offensive efficiency and they're third in defensive efficiency. So very much like the Golden State Warriors, these guys are dominant on both sides of the ball. And last year, same thing. They were top 10 in offense, seventh, and they finished defensively ranked number 6. So we're talking about a complete cultural turnaround. You have a stud at point guard in CP3. I think he's starting to receive his flowers. You're not running to you're not going to run into as many guys who can put up numbers like John Stockton, but do it bouncing from team to team. Usually that's supposed to throw you off. You got to start back over, form rhythm with completely different players. CP3 kicks it up a notch, like you all have said, everywhere he goes. Russell Westbrook takes it down a notch everywhere he goes. So we're going to take that and jump right into the Los Angeles Lakers.
Why do you have to do that name?
I apologize. You know, I like to mess with Russ. And you know, me having a sample size of Russ here for the Washington Wizards for a while, it gave me a clear view of what I think I'm seeing right now. I almost feel like I could have predicted it out of Russ, but not to knock Russ. I believe he's a Hall of Fame caliber player, but a lot of people question, can Russ, AD, LeBron, Melo all flow on the floor together? What's your guys' thoughts?
Can I speak on this, Prof, real quick?
Please.
Thank you. All right. I honestly don't feel that I don't feel it's a problem skill-wise. I think it's a problem will-wise. I think it's a problem like in their intensity, like, you know, these are guys in their like early 30s, early to mid 30s, you know, oh man, you know, this is only what we just starting out the season. I don't know if I want to run up and down the floor, you know, all game, man. I'm getting tired. You know, I honestly feel they're going to get it together. They're going to right the ship. They're going to get that sense of urgency. I mean, folks are clowning Russ, but in the past few games, his turnovers have kind of like declined, and he's actually been playing better basketball, and his defense has gotten better too. I just think they have to have that sense of urgency because there's no way you should be losing in 3 overtimes at that to the Sacramento Kings.
Right.
Like, do you know how blown I was laying in the bed on like what was supposed to be a peaceful Thanksgiving getaway to check my phone and like, okay, first overtime tied up, second overtime tied up, third overtime. What? You lost by 6 points, dude. I was like, I don't know if y'all seen this meme before of like Pablo Escobar from Narcos just sitting in different spaces, just staring off into space. That's how I felt like, bro, you cannot be loot. You lost to the Kings in 3 overtimes. That like forget about Braun having 30 points and all that, and Russ having like at this point, I don't even care about Russ's triple doubles. Just win games, bro. Like that's all. Sacrifice your wanting to get triple doubles, and he has. Like I don't think Russ is playing for self. I think he actually wants, like, you know, to win games. I think sometimes, you know, when you try too hard, you mess up. Yeah. And I think that's his problem too.
I do believe he's definitely trying to put on for his city. I'm sorry, Professor J, but I agree.
No. You want to go or you want me to go? I'm good.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is a legitimate big 3. I'm not going to blame it on the chemistry of a team because that was expected. What I am going to say is the coaching is probably the biggest issue here, because when you bring in a player of this caliber, yes, we know the triple doubles, we know his greatness, we know all of that, but we also understand that he needs to fit into a team that you already had put together. You bringing in Carmelo, you brought back Rondo, plus you got some young pieces that you need to mesh together. If they're not meshing well, then it's the reason why they're not winning. You have to give them a winning formula as a coach to say, hey, if AD is going to play the 5 and I'm going to put LeBron here, I'm going to put Russ here, this needs to work. Hearing all the early talk about Russ needs to come off the bench, I mean, that's idiotic. That what you're speaking to is it's a chemistry issue. Right. You fix the chemistry issue by having better coaching. When Russ came here in the middle of last year, he and Bill had chemistry issues. You see how they ironed that out and they got themselves into the playoffs and they made a nice run. Just those two guys. Now that you have AD, and we're going to get on him later because he has separate issues that are not meshing well in his own game that are separate from this chemistry. But I think once you get Westbrook on that page with LeBron, whether he's running the point or LeBron is running the point, it doesn't matter. We all know that he can move without the ball because he did it down there in Houston with the beard. So we know that he can play some 2, he can play some point. Let him be in his natural position. And like you just said, you made the greatest point. If we get away from the focus of him getting triple doubles every night, I think you'll find the chemistry point where they all can work together and all get at least 20, averaging 20 points and push that team to where they need to go. The narrative is not over yet on this story. And that's what I alluded to the first time. Yes, it's early, but I think if they work it out with Russ, he's starting to humble himself enough to come down to saying, let me do what the team needs for me to do.
Absolutely.
And AD is actually been having some serious shooting woes. Now, he's still been managing to put up at least 20 points a game, but with a guy of his caliber and that height, you're going to do what you need to do to score down low. But as far as his jump shooting, which was one of the main reasons he was brought to LA, was not only is he a big man, but he stretches the floor. So you're not only able to stretch with a 4, but you're also able to stretch with your 5. And currently, as of late, he was 1 of 12 as far as jumpers last night. But out of 56 players who have attempted at least 150 jumpers this season, he ranks last in efficiency, averaging just 0.71 points per shot. So one of the big 3 is actually not even operating at a high level.
He's been slipping. Yeah, he's definitely been slipping.
Y'all know when he really started dipping, and y'all gonna know exactly where I'm going. Players that say they don't listen to the media, they don't look at social media, they are lying.
They are lying.
When they had that game against Milwaukee and he had to face Giannis, and everybody was like, yeah, Giannis, he coming for you. What you gonna do? How you gonna play? And Giannis did eat his lunch in that game. After that point, he started taking a much deeper dive. So I think a lot of times, man, for a lot of these great players, it's up here.
It's definitely. I think he can get it back too. I just think he needs to definitely shut out the outside world, shut off social media. Like, just have a talk with the man in the mirror and be like, dude, you're better than this. You're great. Get your groove back. And I think it'll happen. He needs people who like Bron, people like who's gonna like kind of build him back up instead of listening to these people like trying to tear him down every day, on these sports shows.
Absolutely. But I also want to tap into another very popular team amongst the DMV natives. The Washington Wizards are playing amazing basketball right now.
They
are. How do you guys feel about Washington so far through this season?
I'm feeling good, man. I hope it's not a hoax or a fluke. I'm like, they are meshing, they are gelling. I mean, you got the right pieces in the right places. You got Kuzma balling like I said he would. I think getting away from those Hollywood lights definitely affected his game and, had him like with a point to prove. You got Trez being used the way he was supposed to be used in LA. I mean, you got KCP, getting his shot back. You got, even the pieces that are there already with Hachimura and Gifford and I mean, can we give some props to Spencer Dinwiddie too, being that second option?
Absolutely.
Like, these like I'm really proud of the way they're playing. They're currently a 4th, I think, right now in the East. I might I have to go back and see, but I think they're 4th. But even number like 7 in the power, number 8 in the power rankings. I'm sorry. That I mean, that in itself is impressive, and I'm proud of what I'm seeing from the Wiz kids.
Yeah,
and Bill's not even playing his best basketball right now. He's kind of co-handling the ball handling duties with Spencer Dinwiddie, and I believe Spencer was actually out the last game when they played the Dallas Mavericks, and they still pulled off the win. So they've been playing amazing basketball. Montrezl Harrell, he's kind of fell off the last game or two, but he and Bill have such a flow and such a rhythm. It kind of almost reminds me, not just like, but kind of like John Wall and Marcin Gortat, where they was able to have rhythm, feed off one another. They had a strong 2 game, excuse me, played the pick and roll, and it was just overall exciting basketball. I think if Bill and Harrell can form that, or either Dinwiddie and Harrell can form that, with creating Bill to be more of a coming off the pick type of guy / closer, these guys have an amazing team. Kyle Kuzma, I've never seen him play this well, this free. I didn't know he could shoot that well. I knew he could get up and down the floor, but now I'm looking for him. Look, if Bill can come off the pick, Kyle, you come off the pick, and if not, Slash. You're tall, you're much more athletic. I don't necessarily agree with the oversized pink shirt, but live your life. That's how you want to walk into
express your individuality. Live out loud.
Comfortable. But I did want to throw a question out there. You know, it's always good to have depth at the point guard position. Currently in New York with the New York Knicks, an individual by the name of Kemba Walker has just been told, you know what, you're not going to be really needed in the rotation anymore.
Hit the showers.
We don't really need you. Yeah, hit the showers. You know, we got D Rose, we got everybody else. I need. Would you all accept Kemba Walker here to offset Dinwiddie at times at the point guard position? Do you think his game flows with the Wizards offense since he is a point guard, passing guard first?
You want to take this one, Prof?
Yeah. Wow, you threw a serious curveball in there. Because I was actually going to hit you guys with the possibility of John Wall coming back for that same reason that they need depth. And John Wall is starting to accept more of a Rose type position where he can get quality minutes, but not necessarily starting anymore, but coming off of the bench. But now that you raised that question with Kemba Walker, I mean, as long as Kemba's health is not an issue, I mean, you can make the argument for John Wall as well. I think that either one could be an integral piece coming back for Wall coming back to this team and kind of fitting in, playing maybe 28 to 32 minutes a night, lending that helping hand, and even having some extended play when Dinwiddie needs to get some rest. I don't think that that's a bad idea. The only concern, number 2, is what will it cost the Wizards in order to pull that off? Because we just talked about chemistry. And I got to say it, y'all, we live in Washington, D.C., and people have been fleecing our teams for years. We may have pulled off one of the best heists in Westbrook out to L.A. and bringing back those 3 guys and getting a real roster that actually has some depth for the first time, and I don't know how long. We didn't even mention the fact that Thomas Bryant will be coming back. Then you got Hachimura. Then you got Thomas Bertans coming back from his injury. So when we start hitting that stride in the middle of the season, I think this Wizards team can be that 3-4 just teetering back and forth. Obviously, you got the Bucks and Brooklyn that'll be battling for the top 2 spots. But I think everybody else, even the Heat, might have to take that. And they beat the Heat last week. They're going to have to take a back seat to this Wizards team that by mid-season, no longer can we call them upstarts. They will be legitimate. And I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm done. Y'all know our history with coaches. Wes Unseld Jr. coming in here, and rest in peace. His dad was a legend here. but we had that bad taste of him coaching and then being the general manager. I think he is rewriting the history of their family before our very eyes. And I'm loving his adjustments. Even Scott Brooks didn't make the adjustments that this guy is now doing. And it's making it a pleasure to watch and, dare I say, go to a Wizards game.
Absolutely. And let me add to your point, Professor. I too agree with Wall coming back to the Wizards. I don't think that's a good idea. My only concern is it would be too much water under the bridge, number one, because him and Bill had their issues. And yeah, it would affect the chemistry of the team. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I mean, we didn't even mention what's the little brother, Justin Holiday. I mean, he's even playing good ball. And
Holiday.
Yes. Why mess up a good thing? And like, we definitely pulled off. Like, we probably had one of the best off seasons in a long time, like in this city. So yeah. I mean, Kemba, I don't know, because it's like it would depend on health, but it's like, would he be a good fit? Like, would he, yeah, I wouldn't want to rock the boat, with either one.
I went back and forth in my mind about the John Wall thing because I didn't really want him to leave. And I believed he was the perfect counter attitude presence to a Bradley Beal. My issue, and it's not really an issue, my concern was always that Beal was more of a relaxed guy. I believed him and Wall formed a tandem that operated a lot better because Wall was more of a hothead, in your face. He kind of brought out those intangibles and that attitude in Bill. When you remember Bill got here, he was St. Louis Midwest cat to his core. You don't catch him at the clubs. He's not out into a bunch of foolishness. The man has settled down quickly, had kids, been a prominent member in the community. He's a very laid back, number two spirited individual. I believe he's trying to come into his own, but John Wall brought a lot of that naturally, and that caused Bill to be able to function properly as a number two, but also showing him how what you would need to do to step into that dominant role. I believe in order to beat the Nets and possibly Chicago or surprise one of these teams in the playoff, somebody's going to have to get angry. And right now, our main ball handlers, they're not really angry. They play ball, but I know when the playoffs come, look, Jimmy Butler's coming to hit you in the mouth. Tyler Hero is coming to hit you in the mouth. James Harden is coming to hit you in the mouth. And right now, I like the way we're going, but are we coming to hit you in the mouth?
You don't think we got that with Trez?
I think but Trez is a person that needs to be set up. He can definitely be the Draymond of it, but he's going to have to snap. But I do like that. But ultimately, I think Trez is a good guy. The thing I think Draymond brings that Wall brings at times is that sometimes I'm willing to be bad, and sometimes you need that, and not bad as dirty foul. Well, when it comes to Draymond, yes, but when it comes to John Wall, I think he was willing to be extremely aggressive. And it's beyond competition. This is my pride. Like, you can tell it got real to Wall at times. And I'm not discrediting the others. I just haven't seen. So maybe I'm talking a little too fast right now. But I'm looking down.
You don't see Neto?
Huh?
You don't see Neto being that guy? I'm playing with you. I'm playing.
What's my other man name?
Avia.
Yeah, Avia.
They're nice.
I definitely
guys.
feel what you said. I feel what you said. You raised an interesting point, though. There might be more of a consideration for the Philadelphia 76ers than it would be for Washington Wizards. You got 2 points out there. Wall is making similar money, albeit not the years that Ben Simmons has, but he's got that same type of guaranteed money left. So maybe there's a deal to be made with the Rockets, for those two guys. But then if Kemba is in the mix, maybe there's something that could be done with New York. But
I would take Wall over Walker, honestly, because Wall can still slash to the basket. He takes the pressure off Embiid to score every time, and he can shoot, which is a trait that Ben Simmons is still trying to gather. Although while what you kind of miss in defense with Simmons, Wall, can play defense as well. He's scrappy.
He can. Yeah. I like him better than Walker for that reason. The minute you said, I don't know if it was you or Professor J, but you're absolutely right. Wall plays better defense than Kemba. That's one of the issues. He's not in the rotation. You can't play for Tom Thibodeau and be soft. It don't go. It don't go together. If you're not willing to scrap, average a steal or two, grab some rebounds, get up and down the floor, get physical. That's why he's always, no matter where Thibodeau goes, if Rose is free, bring me him. Because I know at minimum he's going to leave it all on the floor and a dread. He's going to leave everything on the floor. That man is going to play hard. But you tapped into Ben Simmons and a straight up trade for John Wall. It will be hard for me as an athletic director to pick up a guy who is 6'9", 6'10", and he's scared to dunk on Trae Young. Trae Young is this big. He is this big. And Ben Simmons looked at him like he was the biggest mountain he's seen this side of Missouri. So I don't know.
It's Philadelphia, y'all.
It was the environment.
Their fan base is just different.
Ooh, they're vicious.
And he just can't thrive in front of that fan base. I'm telling you, if this man can get out of town to any other market other than like LA or Boston, he would be just fine. I'm telling you, it's up here. And I think when the fans turned on him, he just lost it. Let
me bring up a point, just hypothetically speaking. You don't think he would thrive with a team like the Lakers?
I think that stage is also too big. That's why I said not Boston either, or New York for that matter.
But having a nurturing big brother like Bron, he's already a clutch client. Him and
right. But how long does Bron have left? Bringing in a Ben Simmons, you want to keep him, for the remainder of that contract. So that means long term. So bringing him in, LeBron, I'm sure he wouldn't be far from the organization. But the thing is, LeBron got enough people he needs to nurture right now. How much Bron can you have to go around?
The only reason I bring up Simmons going to LA is what we're currently lacking, or what we're having failure to be consistent at, which is defense. I think, bringing him in takes care of half of that. It at least gets us back in like the top 10.
But what would you give up? Because you can't have Rondo, him, and Westbrook.
I would give up possibly Rondo. Even though I would miss his IQ. Like I would have to, if I'm Rob, I would make that move, because right now you need defense, and teams are basically like having a free for all on you scoring wise.
Yeah, but that wouldn't work for Rondo.
Ben Simmons need one of them situations where he needs to go to a organization where the city is happy to have them. Okay, Oklahoma is happy to have their.
Portland would love that dude.
Milwaukee is happy to have their team. He needs a space that's kind of low key where he can continue to develop, because that fear to capitalize in that moment is just going to show back up in the playoffs. So he needs a forgiving city.
Because New Orleans.
He won't shoot.
New Orleans would love to have him too.
Yeah, well, him and Zion, possibly. Yeah, that'd be it. But does Zion even want to stay in New Orleans? Oops, I'm sorry. That's another topic.
If you pull in a Ben Simmons, he might get happy.
I hear the food is amazing in New Orleans, so I see Zion.
So Zion heard it too.
Yeah, he sure did.
That was so wrong. Another 3 to 4 years. I see. Hey, he got my man getting big.
Yeah.
He won't let you take a solid shot of him standing up. He's
on that shot
from the camera. Yeah, he know what he's doing.
The word on the street is he's not happy right now in New Orleans.
I believe it.
Yeah.
How long has he been in New Orleans? Has he been there that long?
2 years, I think. 3 years.
This is third year, right?
3 years.
This is third year. Yeah.
He's not happy.
Most of it. What more does that man need right now?
To play under some bright lights, like a New York, or I wouldn't say LA, but yeah, definitely a New York. I could see him with the Knicks.
Man, sometimes these kids be wanting a little too much before they actually have done anything. Like, finish out your contract, continue to dominate. Most importantly, stay available.
Yeah.
It's hard to be mad at an organization when the organization can probably be mad at you. It's confusing. If he went to another organization, they would have a whole bunch of issues as well. Are you going to stay healthy on the floor? Are we going to catch you at Blaze Pizza all the time? You got
exactly.
to,
How about you? Yeah, focus on yourself. Try to keep that weight down. Number one, bro. Like focus
because
on.
he's a top tier athlete,
Yes.
man. I watched Zion. He was all over social media for 3-4 years before he even touched the league. We literally watched this man dunk from the 8th grade on. So I'm expecting him to be tearing stuff up, man. I would love to see Zion in his prime absolutely doing his thing, but that weight issue has to come down because he's such an explosive athlete. You're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I kind of felt about Ja Morant. A lot of these guys that are one and done and didn't necessarily put the time in the weight room, they get hurt very quickly with these hurt movements. Their bodies still are adjusting to the 82 game schedule plus playoffs. So it's a lot to consider. And I hope the young man makes the proper decisions in the future.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, guys. Did you all want to say anything else before we get on out of here?
Yeah. Just real quick. I know we'll probably touch on this in the next show, but just wanted to bring up have a bone more so to pick with these current power ranking standings. I mean, I know the Lakers are on a struggle, but number 19, like, come on, bro. Like that's like pretty much near the bottom of the heap. Like,
I knew you was gonna have something to say.
Like, what's going on? Like
LA?
Yeah, they got him at number 19. I'm like, has it come to this?
Well, the problem is the record. Yeah, partly of it is the record and losing a triple overtime game to people like the Kings, chemistry issues. I mean, should they be a little bit higher than 19? I would think so. I would say maybe top 15, but they got them at the bottom half of the league. So,
which is just shameful. But other than that,
that's where they belong right now. I believe the potential is there. It's definitely there. But as far as schedule-wise and the team, like you said, the teams they're losing to, it's one thing if you to drop 10 games to Golden State, Phoenix, Milwaukee, the Wizards. But we're talking about Orlando, Sacramento, Indiana Pacers. Like
Detroit, you lost to Minnesota. Like, yeah, so I get it. But then I don't get it. Like, okay, yeah, it shouldn't be that low. But yeah, I mean, probably
right now they got cats like Anthony Edwards thinking, man, I can go to LA and just give them 40. Like, no, that's disrespectful to the whole entire culture. Yeah.
And that's the problem they running into. And I don't want to make this all Lakers. I'm sorry, but I'm a fan. I can't help it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just like you got teams, and Kendrick Perkins said this. Don't laugh, Jamani. But yeah, Kendrick Perkins said you got teams that's going to be giving you their best shot because you are the Lakers. Teams going to be like, you can't just sleep on a team and be like, all right, that's an easy dub for us. I can kind of, turn it down maybe 20, 30%, not really give it my all because we can just, get out of here with an easy dub. You can't think like that now. No team is an easy dub. And every team is going to give you their best shot. So you got to come playing this team like it's one of the best teams in the league every night.
Man, we can talk about LA and Brooklyn on every show, the whole show. These are organizations that put it all in on the line for championships right now. They deserve all the attention they can get, So I'm looking at
like Shaq said.
Right. You put it together. When you put together Russell Westbrook, AD, LeBron, Melo, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, I'm expecting to see something. You threw a lot of names at me. I don't care how old they are. Like, I am expecting to see something, and I expect them to get back on the horse. But it's just interesting to see them work through their little issues right now. But I believe they'll work it out. They'll work it out. I don't think they're going to go out like they did last year. Hopefully, they can avoid the injury. And I felt like LeBron was hoping AD was going to hold it down during that Phoenix series that they lost. But you had a weak AD, and with the man playing and kind of kicking off the season like that this year, it does cause you to worry just a little bit. Like, what's in the tank? It seemed like once you got to LA, the dog you were in New Orleans, because him and Boogie looked like they was about to party in New Orleans.
The Twin Towers. Oh, yeah. And we didn't even touch on Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Shaq said, don't forget about the champs. Don't forget about the champs.
I mean, I think that was a good pickup. Like,
keep trying to tell you.
Yeah, like that was a good pickup, like low key by Milwaukee, because I mean, Boogie still got a lot to prove. Believe it or not, he still got a lot to prove. He's like, too bad, unfortunately the ACL tears, sidelines him, from getting the big payday that he was, supposed to get, even though he shouldn't have turned down that initial one. But nonetheless, I think he still got a lot to prove. And, being on a team that can kind of groom you into that championship culture the way it was supposed to go for you in Golden State when you had signed with them for that 1 year deal. I think it'll bode well for him.
Absolutely. Well, fellas, I enjoyed chopping it up with you all on this NBA Special Post edition. My name is Jay Wills. I enjoyed being here. Professor Jay, got anything to say as we head out?
Yes, sir. Just our natural public service announcement. Don't forget to tune in to Positions on Sports Talk Show tomorrow, Tuesday, at our normal time at 7 p.m., where you'll see ourselves and the rest of the crew. We'll be live and direct, dropping all the bombs that you need for every sport that's relevant at the time. We thank you guys for always tuning in. Please continue to support us on our social media. Please give a shout out, share, podcasts. All those things are readily available to each and every one of you. We thank you for listening tonight. And then I'm going to turn it over to Sense, and then Jay Wills will take us out.
Just echoing the sentiments of Professor, be sure to tune in. Be sure to tune into these games tonight. Not, some things. Each game is definitely worth watching. Nothing like, a superstar matchup, but definitely if you got League Pass, check that out. And also tune into our show tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Let's go, Washington.
I was just about to say, I'm about to log into this Washington football team Seahawks battle. Hometown squad. Hopefully we can pull it off. But we thank you for tuning here with us for the NBA post edition. Lord have mercy. Hopefully you all enjoy.
God bless. Take care.